Welcome back to episode 16 of Retrotopia, where a show where Sam and myself talk about the games we used to play.
That's right, Brian, and this week we are talking about Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
We were originally going to talk about Altered Beast, but last minute changed because I ran into life, and life ran into me pretty hard. But it's been about a week since we talked. Sam, what do we got going on over there in Wisconsin?
Oh, not too much. It's been pretty warm, but talking about the weather is boring. So, I've just been keeping myself busy, getting over a cold, and watching the Super Bowl this weekend. So,
Yeah, that was quite the game. I'm not a big football fan, but I always watch the Super Bowl. It's just a lot more on the line, and they play it with a little more heart. But how many San Francisco players went down?
quite a few. And
And that dude that tripped on the grass and like sprained his ankle.
that's nuts because it's like that happened. And it's like one of those just freak things that can happen. But there was like a play or two after that. Like Christian McCaffrey got tackled in this weird way. It's like, wow, I'm sure it hurt to get tackled that way, but he wasn't like injured out of the game. It was like, oh, if anything, I would think that hurts worse than whatever happened by tripping on the field. But
Yeah, well, that's the importance of warming up, right?
I guess, I don't know. This stuff just happens. How about you? How's it going up there in Canada, man?
Well, before we were recording there, I was telling you about my fun little accident last night. I tripped in the dark, started going down, and went for the counter with my hand, missed, took the full force on my chest. So it's been kind of a nice day of a lot of pain.
Oh, yeah, that's no good. And it's not really anything you can do
No,
for it. You taking anything or just letting it heal?
no, it's just going to heal. It's just basically a large bruise right now. Like nothing's broken. There's no big cuts or wounds or anything like that. So it's more of a discomfort than it is a problem.
It's just getting punched in the chest by the counter.
Yeah, pretty much. I blame Taylor Swift.
I would too. Yeah,
I don't know how it's her fault, but somehow it's her fault. I hear that's popular right now.
it is. Yeah, my oldest daughter says she is old and overrated, which
Ooh.
yeah, I'm upset by one of those things, and I'll let you all decide which one that is.
I can just see you in bed right now under the sheets crying, no, Tay-Tay is not overrated.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so let's we did not actually get any comments this week, which is okay. We're a little hurt.
Yeah,
but
we'll
we
take
did,
it out on our friends there.
yeah. We did call speaking of football, we did call an audible and switch from Altered Beast this week to Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers.
Oh, good term.
Yeah. So we did not get any comments because it was pretty short notice. So we'll just get right into it. Yeah,
So
that's all
yeah,
I had to say about that.
yeah. So before we get into that, what do we got coming up in the next few weeks there, Sam?
So the next few weeks, barring any changes to the schedule, which I don't think we will,
No.
we have Punch Out for the NES coming up. We have Final Fantasy 3, which I'm very much looking forward to talking about, and Marble Madness. And so, yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy 3. I made a lot of progress. I think I'm almost done with it, but I didn't quite finish it this weekend because my personal game that I'm playing is the Ocarina of Time 3D remake on, well, it was already 3D, but the Ocarina of
And you've
Time
been
3D.
posting that in the Discord there.
Yeah.
Just letting one of our friends know that you just passed him like he was standing still.
Yeah. Yeah, I got back from watching the Super Bowl last night, and then I beat the Shadow Temple. So I am just about, I think, right up to the Spirit Temple now. So I should be done with it, like probably tomorrow.
Are you playing on the 3DS or the N64?
3DS.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the 3DS remake is actually really cool. I would suggest it if anyone's got a 3DS and has not played the basically the remake or the remaster of Ocarina of Time. It's
I
worthwhile.
bought that and I still have it as part of my collection. I just actually never played the 3DS version of the game.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if we well, we will cover that game on the show. If I have anything to say about it, I think you should play the 3DS version because it's a lot of fun. It's actually got a little bit of quality of life updates, and it
Oh,
looks
that's good. The
sharper.
original game didn't sit well with me, so.
Well, some of those things might not have been fixed. I think Navi is actually more obnoxious
Oh yeah, of course.
than in the
Navi's the
original.
wild card of video games, and he will know what that means.
Hey, hey, listen. Yeah,
Fucking
she
wild
she
card.
she pipes in. Actually, they added a thing because it's a more modern remaster. If you've been playing for a couple hours, she'll pipe up and say like, "Hey, isn't it time that you saved and took a break?"
Oh yeah, that whole Nintendo thing that they
Yeah.
started for a long time there.
Yeah, that was like the Wii era and the 3DS,
Video
DS
games are
era.
rotting your brain. Go take a
Yeah,
break.
I think it's time for you to take a break. I think
You
it's time
haven't
for you to
had a
shut
smoke
up.
in an hour. Go
Yeah, I
outside and get some fresh air.
think it's time for you to shut up and let me do what I want.
It's
How about you? What do
portable.
you
You're with me.
Yeah. What are you playing, Brian?
I've been playing the Messenger
Oh,
pretty much exclusively outside of the podcast games. Like I sat down with Chip and Dale and I actually beat it on my first playthrough. Like I just went left to right in that game.
yeah, it's a quick one. Yeah, I,
Yeah,
I
it's
did. I
not.
didn't mention that one. I was playing that as well.
Yeah, and no, the Messenger because I've got a little side project going on about indie games there, and the Messenger is one of the ones I want to finish so I can carry on with my little side project, which I'm not going to talk about here. Anyways, so yeah, that game has been outstanding, man. I can't believe I missed it. I'm not a huge platformer guy, and
Hmm.
Ninja Gaiden has never been my favorite type of game, but the Messenger just does it right.
Yeah, me too. I played it for the first time last summer, I believe. Yes, and it was the same thing. I had heard great things about it, but looking at it was like this is not the type of game that I typically am either good at or enjoy. I tend to get frustrated with this type of game, and there were moments where I got pretty frustrated with the Messenger, but um, it's just really it does handle really clean and looks good. It
Oh,
sounds good.
on
Yeah.
top of that, when you die, you go back to the last save point, and it doesn't
Hmm.
really punish you for anything. It takes some of your life, and you have to pay this little demon some of your what are they called? Time crystals
Right.
uh, that you can't collect for the upgrades. But no, it's like Celeste, where you can try the same level 100 times, and you slowly figure it out as you go, and then you get good at it. Like some of the bosses there, by the time I beat them, I was so good at the first half of it, I wouldn't even be touched.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny though. Like there were certain parts of the game where I died a bunch, and I did start to get a little bit sick of the little red demon guy, like uh, basically making fun of me every time I died.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I tend to ignore it a lot, but no, I think that was a great addition to the game as opposed to the life system. I would
yeah,
not play this game if I had 3 lives to get past any point.
yeah. I guess I would rather not have game overs, and the trade off is this little smart ass demon chirps me, and then like takes my time crystals. It's like okay,
Yeah,
fine,
that's exactly it. But that's for a different thing. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
awesome. Well, then that means it's time to get into the game. But before that, Brian will tell us a little bit about it.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers for the Nintendo Entertainment System is a delightful platformer that successfully translates the charm and camaraderie of the animated TV show onto the gaming screen. Players can choose to control either Chip or Dale, the two adventurous chipmunks who served as the dynamic leaders of the Rescue Rangers. The team includes the genius mouse inventor Gadget, the brawny Australian mouse Monterey Jack, and the small but feisty housefly Zipper. Each character brings unique abilities to the table, adding an extra layer of strategy and cooperation to the gameplay. The levels are creatively designed, drawing inspiration from the TV show episodes. From a bustling neighborhood to a functioning factory, players encounter a variety of environments, each presenting its own set of challenges, enemies, and puzzles. The game incorporates platforming elements, puzzle solving, and enemy invasion, keeping players entertained. The overarching narrative centers around thwarting the plans of the villainous Fat Cat, a nefarious feline who serves as a primary antagonist in both the TV show and the game. The Rescue Rangers must outsmart Fat Cat and his henchmen to rescue their friends and save the day. Complementing the engaging gameplay is the vibrant and colorful visual styles that capture the essence of the animated series. The graphics are well crafted for the NES, featuring expressive character sprites and detailed backgrounds that enhance the overall experience. The music and sound effects also contribute to the nostalgic atmosphere with a catchy soundtrack that resonates with TV show fans. The tunes evoke a sense of adventure and perfectly accompany the on-screen action. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers for the NES remains a classic title cherished by fans of both the animated series and retro gaming. Its successful adaptation of the TV show's characters and storylines into engaging and entertaining platforms solidifies its place in the hearts of gamers who fondly remember the adventures of these lovable chipmunks. All right, and that was a little bit about Chip and Dale. So let's get into the game. Obviously, every week we always ask ourselves, why did we choose this game? So Sam, why Chip and Dale?
Well, this is a nice short one that we can play quick and talk about, but I think we both had some experience with. Myself personally, this was one of those games that I played at a cousin's house. So it was, I have fond memories that way. Not, I was pretty little, so I wasn't, getting very far in it or anything at the time, but definitely remember the game, the sounds, like the weird like chime sound that it makes when you collect those little flowers, and the
It was like
graphics and
somebody
colors.
jingling their keys to get you entertained.
Yeah. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah, how about you? What history do you have with this game?
um, I know I played it. I rented it when I was young. That's right. There's rental things,
Yeah.
stores they call them. But
Yeah.
no, I rented it because Chip and Dale was a pretty big franchise, especially the Rescue Rangers during my peak adolescence. And DuckTales had come out already, and this game was just DuckTales was fantastic, and then this game was just it was a great side-scrolling platformer. So
Yeah,
my history with the game is renting and beating it.
this game is really good. It's like, I don't know, the Capcom, like early late 80s, early 90s, they had this series of um
Well, they were on fire.
yeah,
Like,
they couldn't miss.
yeah, they were just pumping out like hit after hit after hit. In fact, I didn't realize it, but we're actually doing back-to-back Capcom games. So
Yeah, we are, and two really good ones. Yeah, I'd say
yeah.
like give me a bad Capcom game from this era. I'll wait. Oh
Oh,
wait,
there's probably one out there, and I bet you I know who could probably give you a whole list.
yeah, someone's gonna chime in with like Breath of Fire. It's not a bad game. It's just a flawed game.
It was good, solid RPG done wrong.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that. But if you really want to hear what I think about it, go to Retro Wars because I joined Danny on this week's episode, or the Breath of Fire episode, anyways, which will be about a week ago from the time this is released.
Yeah, I've been anticipating that one for a long time, so I listened to that today as soon as I could. That was a good episode, guys.
Oh yeah, well, Danny carries a whole podcast. But anyways, let's get on to Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, so
Stop kissing the Aussie's ass.
yeah. So yeah, let's talk about Rescue Rangers. We got not a ton of plot here to go through, but the Rescue Rangers neighbor, I see that you corrected my spelling.
Oh yeah, I Canadianize this whole script. Just sends my grammar checker like right on fire when you put all the American
Oh yeah.
spellings and stuff.
Oh yeah, I bet. So let me rephrase that. The Rescue Rangers neighbor, or however you weirdos spell it. So Mandy has lost her kitten. I don't know if that's like a character from the show. I did like the show, but I don't remember enough of it to. um, to recall. But they have to stop Fat Cat, which is a classic 90s cartoon bad guy, Fat Cat.
Yeah, a gangster
Yeah.
boss, mob boss. That's the word I'm looking for.
And he's got his army of baddies and robots and whatever he's throwing at the rescue rangers. So you have to,
Yeah,
yeah.
game didn't really need a big plot. In fact, I didn't even know the game had a plot because I've never read the game manual. So, yeah, it's nice to know there was actually a reason the rescue rangers went out.
Yeah, and while I was playing through it, I didn't really pay much attention. I was like, "Are we trying to rescue Gadget?" That's who I thought we were.
Well,
I thought,
yeah, and then you save her like 2 levels in.
yeah. So then she's like, "That's. I think you rescue Gadget." I must have missed like because they have these little mini like quote unquote cutscenes where like Gadget's giving you tips about the next level, which is kind of cool because that's kind of what she does in the show, right? She's kind of the on the sidelines, like helping them out and fixing things and um, giving them
Yeah, she's
advice.
the one that both the Chip and Dale just like swoon over whenever she's around.
Correct.
Typical '90s cartoon. There's the hot, very capable woman there that the main characters just they want to get with.
Yes, hot
But
animal creature.
interspecies sex is wrong.
Yeah, the a real she's a real Lola bunny. Let's just um. So yeah, for protagonists, you got Chip and Dale. They don't play differently, do they? I couldn't.
No,
Yeah.
it's more about who you prefer in the show for whatever reason. But there's a two-player simultaneous mode,
Oh,
so
really?
yeah,
Have
you
you ever
can play
tried it?
together. Well, yeah, neither have I. Like me and my brother don't play video games together, and I don't have friends. So
No, because you ruin them all the time.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
No, so yeah, I guess neither of us have any. Um, I just would imagine it's both of
I
you
looked
on the
up a
screen.
video before recording, and it's just literally the same game with both of you on the screen at the time.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, and the bosses still only have the one red ball to throw, so you got to share.
Gotta share the ball. I
Yes.
liked that. I mean, we can. I don't know if this is skipping around, but I liked the boss fights with the like red ball. You knew what to expect once you did the first one. It's like okay, like how do we figure out what I need to hit or whatever? But I know that I need to do something with this red
Yeah.
ball.
Did you feel like it almost played like a Mega Man game there because you'd get to the end, you'd walk in, and then it would be just this one room with the boss, and it was almost as if you're taking on a robot master.
Yeah, I kind of did. And those bosses were like the animations or the sprites for the bosses were really cool.
Yeah,
They looked
and
awesome.
they're all big as well, and they're also like takeaways from the show.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember enough of the show to I should go back and watch it. Just
no, sit your kids down; they'll love it.
actually they don't. It sucks. Like I've tried to show them like stuff that Disney Plus is like full of all the cool shit that we used to watch when we were kids, and I'll put it on and they're just like, "Dad, this is pretty dumb."
Yeah, everything's all TikTok and YouTube or whatever now. My kid's the same way. Like I tried
Yeah.
to immerse him in my life there. He knows a lot of pop culture references. I'm like, where the hell do you find all these out? Because he's talking Dragon Ball Z. He hears
Mhm.
music from old movies, and he's like, "Oh, that's I know that song." And but it's always because of his stupid little YouTube shorts.
Oh, no. So, like, if you were to sit him down and be like, "Let's watch some Dragon Ball Z," he'd be like, "Nah."
Yeah, pretty much. You'd be
Ugh,
like, let's watch this instead. Mr. Beast is giving somebody $1 million, and I'm going to be a millionaire too because Mr. Beast said I can be.
ugh. These kids these days.
Mr. Beast is like the worst person on the planet because I don't actually hate him and I don't dislike what he does for the world, but man, my kid comes out with some weird ideas after watching his videos.
I don't even know what that is, but maybe I'm glad that I don't.
Some guy who got popular when the YouTube craze started and didn't actually turn into a douchebag. So
Oh, well, I mean, that's good because a lot of people do.
yeah, give him time. He'll
Yeah.
grow into it.
Yeah. Well, if he's been doing it since YouTube started, this is like he's been there. It's gonna be a while before he's incorruptible. He's like Frodo.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Um,
someday I'll have to give it up though. He'll be too old.
yeah. All right, let's talk about let's see. Where did we leave off? We should talk about some of these NPCs. It's kind of cool, but like if I have a criticism of this game, I wish that they would use some of the other characters a little bit more. Um,
Yeah, like make them playable in some instances.
right. Like there were a couple of funny spots where you get like a piece of like Limburger cheese or whatever, and like Monty Jack, like
Monterey Jack.
yeah, he comes through and like he'll like break through a wall for you, and it only happens like twice, but it like each
Yeah.
time it's funny because he's like, have you
Yeah,
seen that?
that whole thing he does on the show, there's like, "Chill, yeah, 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 yeah,"
Yeah,
and his mustache goes out pointed and stuff like
yeah,
that.
and the eyes have that like whatever that what do you call that?
Hypnotic look,
Yeah,
yeah, oh,
and
no,
then
it would've been great, like, that would've been a great character to use for some of the levels. They really could have incorporated that whole cheese thing into it.
yeah, I mean we'll have to play there's a sequel we'll have to play, so I don't
I
know
will
like
play
if
it
they
someday.
yeah I don't know if they incorporate him more, but I hope they do because he's awesome. Have you seen the that rescue ranger? We talked about this? I think that Rescue Rangers movie that
The new
came
one
out.
that was out there with the
Yeah,
ugly Sonic, yeah, I did see that.
yeah, and like the and Monty Jack was like recovering cheese addict.
Uh,
Yeah, he's trying to kick the stuff.
which makes cheese an allegory for heroin.
Right, yeah, cheddar. Um, well, that's money. But anyways, the only other NPC aside from Gadget who talks to you and gives you hints between levels is Zipper.
Yeah.
Um, and he gives you
He's
like a
the star of
temporary,
the like,
yeah,
the star power up of this game. He just gives you invulnerability for a few seconds.
yeah. But he actually there was a spot where it was really helpful, and where I think that this game shines is that it can be difficult at parts, but it gives you the tools that you need to make it a little bit easier. I think this is a very well, when we're giving it the final score and stuff, I'll mention this again, but it's a very well balanced game. I think this game does what something like fucking Lion King didn't do, or Animaniacs, and actually geared the difficulty towards a younger crowd while still being fun.
Yeah, and there it was challenging, but not killer.
Hmm.
Like, usually old Nintendo games I can't play again because my old ass can't keep up with the old technology, but this one I felt very comfortable playing.
Yeah, and it's like there were even if you die and even if you're not that good, there are so many opportunities to get lives. There's like some randomly like hidden around the levels and the boxes. You can pick up the little flower things, and if you collect 50 of those, you get a life. Or if you find
Was it
10 of
50? I
the
thought it
flower,
was 100. I'd never counted.
yeah, I think it was no, I don't remember. It was either 50 or 100, but whatever. It's like you collect a bunch of them, and then you get a life will float across the screen for you to grab. And then
Yeah,
there
the
were,
same with the
yeah,
stars. Like if after you
yeah,
get enough stars, the next star you find is a one up.
yeah. The stars, it was 10. Every 10th was a one up, but they were a little harder to find. And
Yeah.
then in between, like after you beat the level, there's like a bonus stage with I think like I don't know half a dozen boxes around the square or whatever, and you can run up and grab whichever box you want, but it's really limited time. The one in the top middle was always alive.
Was it?
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, really? I
Yeah,
like
no, like
yeah.
I'd always go up the left side because you could get the. I found I could get the most boxes if I picked up the first one and then went up the left side and across. I'd get think about 5 out of the 8 boxes.
Oh wow. So yeah, so I would just skip all of that and I just jumped up to the top and went in the middle and picked that one up, and it was always a one up.
Oh, maybe it was. Maybe I just never noticed.
Yeah, so it was like I could always bank on getting another one up that way too. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. So well, maybe that's something I'll have to try again.
Yeah. And I will play this game again for sure.
Oh, this game is fun. Like you can buy it on the Disney Afternoon Collection,
Yes. It's
and you get what this the second game of Chip and Dale. Then you get 2 DuckTales games. Then you
yep.
get Tailspin and one more. I can't remember.
Darkwing Duck.
Was it Darkwing Duck?
Yeah. All of the chipmunk and duck based uh afternoon cartoons.
Not
Yeah,
to
and
mention
it
the bear. You got Baloo from the Jungle Book.
oh yeah, that's right. That's awesome. though those shows were all awesome. I
Oh, yeah, it was a
actually,
great block of TV after school.
yeah, I grabbed that on the PS5, so it is out there available. I still think it's a crime that it's not on the Switch and that it didn't get
Yeah, it
some
would
sort of.
really do well on the Switch.
It would do gangbusters on the Switch, and they could do like a limited run. I mean, I'd pick it up if it were on the Switch. I'd want to play it on the Switch too. Um, but yeah, anyways, it's out there available, so I highly recommend. And it's not. I think it was like $20 on the PS5.
Yeah,
So
and it
well,
goes on sale, a lot when those big PlayStation sales come out.
right, yeah, it's well worth it. Um, yeah. How about the levels? What'd you think of the? Some of them were kind of samey, but uh, I thought they were pretty well done and interesting to look at for the most part.
I like the levels in the game. Like we've been saying, nothing in this game has been overly hard, but the levels, they are what they look like they are. So it's you're obviously a small character in a big world there. So when you go into a level that has you're in a casino, say I think one of the levels is,
Hmm.
you are obviously a little chipmunk inside of a big casino. You can really feel the difference in size.
Yeah, it's neat. Yeah, I did. I liked the casino. I liked the toy store was pretty cool. Or I don't know if it was a toy store, but there were like Jack in the Boxes and little
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
teddy
that
bears
level.
in boxes. That was a pretty cool one. Um, and then there was like a bookstore, either a bookstore or a library. I like that one too. You're like jumping around on the bookshelves. Um,
I think, yeah, I missed that level because you have a couple of levels you can skip.
oh, he skipped them. Come on.
Well, I was like, I didn't think I'd make it through on my first life, and I literally ran the game left to right.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
easy.
yeah, I skipped the levels to try to get through to the end because I was going to do a second playthrough. But after I
Right.
finished the game, I was just like, okay, well, fuck this then.
Yeah. Well, you beat it, so
Yeah.
um and I liked the overworld too where it's like looks kind of like a Mario 3 like Super Mario World where you are on like an island and you move um like on the path and go level to level, but you're in their little Chippendale airship and the airship looks good. It looks really cool.
Yeah. And oh god, that's again another throwback to the show. The little bleach bottle with a balloon on it made by
Mhm.
Gadget.
Yeah, and it's got those little like Da Vinci looking like bat wing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah, it
Great
just
piece of engineering. Completely not uh, usable in real life physics, but it looked neat on the show, especially going through a major storm in the openings.
oh yeah. Yeah, that was like an iconic cartoon vehicle. Like between that and like the turtle blimp and the turtle van and stuff and then that and um
Blue's
yeah.
airplane from Tailspin,
Oh yeah.
Robo Duck there,
Oh shit, yeah.
the one wheeled guy that was in both DuckTales and Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, and like the Batman the animated series like cigarette Batmobile, like the really long
Oh yeah, that was
like
a good Batmobile. We should convince Unbuckled over in his Unbuckled Comics podcast to do his favorite Batmobiles.
oh, that's a
And
good
I know
one.
he's listening, so Unbuckled.
Yeah, get on
Do
it.
it.
Yeah, best Batmobiles.
And
I
if he does, we'll promote it on this show.
yeah, we will. I would love that. That would be really cool. Um, anything else you got on the levels? I mean, they're pretty typical, platforming levels, but each one has its own like, thing in it that kind of goes along with the theme. Like the first level in the neighborhood, you're up in the power lines and you have to avoid like the frayed sections of wire that have a little like, electric current running through them and
Yeah, and that's very realistic because of city infrastructures and stuff like that. And, using your tax dollars to do kickbacks instead of fix things. So that one was almost too realistic.
yeah, failing infrastructure zapping poor
Yeah.
little chipmunks.
No, I actually really enjoyed the little quirks of each level. Like,
Hmm.
Which level is it? The diner you start out in, then you go through the kitchen and you have to jump on the taps to turn them off, and then you got these pots that are boiling water. You have to jump over the knobs.
Oh yeah. Um, there was, I think it might be the factory at the end where there was like these balls that are dropping out of these pipes, and then you have to use the
Oh
you have
yeah,
to like shut those off too, like being able to shut those off. And it's like if you don't understand to do that on your own, um Gadget gives you those hints. Like that's kind of
yeah,
what she's saying in between the levels. She's like in zone C, make sure that you turn off this knob or whatever, or else you won't be able to pass, or like watch out for the pitfalls, or you
yeah.
know.
Like you, if you jump on this thing there, you'll get past the level. And it's like it's very obvious hints when you get there. It kind of, yeah, it's fun that she does that, but at the same time, maybe making an option you can turn off.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. They weren't doing that back in those days. It
No,
was just
back in the day, you're lucky just to get a Nintendo game, and you thanked mom and dad.
yeah, and if you got this game, you got a good one. So um,
Yeah. Oh no. Just finishing up on the level design. I like how good use of the space on the screen. It wasn't just you running up and jumping on a low platform. Sometimes you could go high. Sometimes you could go low.
mhm.
So it was very varied in the way you could actually complete the levels, and that was what kind of made it a fun game to replay.
Yeah, and in typical like Capcom fashion, we just talked about Mega Man 2 last week. Some of those levels go vertical for a bit, like, climbing up a power line, or not a power line, but like the pole. You climb up the pole and then go over on the line. Um there were a couple other instances like the sewers where you're like going up the pipes, that kind
Yeah.
of yeah, that stuff is awesome, and like just kind of trademark Capcom design.
Yeah, and the best part is if the level didn't need to have a vertical section, like if you're just going through like the diner, say, it's not
Right.
going to give you an artificially, detour or sorry, artificial detour there just to make the more use of the up and down. It makes it feel like you would expect it.
Yeah, it's like it sticks to the theme basically, right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
there's a
every level is just gorgeous. Like for a
mhm,
game this old, they did very well with the color palette and the graphics.
yeah. Yeah, just hard to believe this. Like there are certain games, like parts of Mega Man 2 and this, like looking at it, it's hard to believe that that came out on the NES when there's some other stuff on the NES that looks really not good.
Yeah,
um yeah, so that's the levels, the world. I can't remember if there's anything else I wanted to mention there. I mean, um
we can always circle back.
yeah, we could. Yeah, I mean, even the enemies weren't too bad either on some of these. Like, um, it's pretty simple. Like, there's a pretty neat mechanic where you pick up. There's these little boxes like all over the map, um, which is kind of funny to think about. Like, what are these like? Do you ever go walking out in the neighborhood and see just like stacks of little tiny boxes that are for chipmunks? Like, what the
I
hell are
don't
these?
question it anymore. Those are for Chip and Dale.
Yeah, I know. It's like what. I have to stop my dogs from like eating them. It's like, no, those are for Chip and Dale.
You're gonna kill them. Actually, Chip and Dale throws them at your dogs there, just like the Robo ones.
Yeah, they're like, um, yeah. So that was cool. There were two ways that you could use the boxes, and there was like almost gave a little bit of a layer of strategy to how you move through the level. Is you could either pick up and throw the box, and they would just go. You could throw them either left or right or straight up in the air. And then you could also hide under it. And if an enemy passed over you while you were hiding under a box, it would take your box, but it would kill the enemy. So
Oh, I
I
knew
would.
you could hide in the box. I just never had an enemy run into me when I was in it.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Yeah,
I thought it was just hide in the box.
yeah. You could hide in the box, and then if like one of those robot dogs, for instance, like jumps out and is heading towards you, you could either throw the box, but if you want to hold on to your box, you can just press down and
Ladies.
then. Yeah. Hold on to your box.
Ladies.
Yeah, you could just hide under it, and then once they hit the box, it takes the box and kills them.
Oh, okay, well,
Pick
it's
up
just a
another one.
different way to kill them, I guess.
Yeah, but if you're in a
But,
tight space, it could be
how
useful.
about those enemies that actually took more than one box to kill there? Like, what were they? They were the birds there, and you'd have to throw a box above their legs and clip them on the head to kill them. Otherwise, they'd grab the box and throw it back at you.
Oh yeah, those were tough. I just
Yeah.
tried to leave those alone. That level was actually tough. I can't remember. I think that was the office level or something,
I
but there were like fans, there were like desk fans that were blowing the
yeah.
opposite direction, and those birds were actually pretty tough to jump over too. I mean, Chippendale jumped pretty high in this game, but that bird trying to jump over it really it didn't fuck with you unless you like threw a box at it. But it was
Yeah.
also tough to clear jumping over it.
Yeah, the big key point was, like, you had to hit the box at a certain height, and it was, like, not an impossible shot, but it was a pretty difficult one.
Yeah.
It,
Uh,
took a few boxes to take one out usually.
yeah, and the another cool thing that this game does though, like speaking of uh particular enemies or just sections that are a little bit more difficult, once you get over a section that was a little bit more difficult, the game would kind of like put like the acorns are under some of the boxes and will give you a bit of your health back. You've got like 3 hearts. And if you lose all 3, you die, obviously. But if you were to pick up an acorn, you get a heart back. So I found that after some of those sections that were a little bit more difficult, they would kind of plant an acorn somewhere behind it, as if to say, like, okay, good job. Like you made it past this part. We'll give you your heart back.
Yeah, and normally you had to go pick up every box you could find just to find that acorn, so it was nice. It was definitely, not feeding you the, acorn, but it was putting it in a spot you could, explore a little bit.
Yeah, like, oh, I just got over this, obstacle. I'm going to grab this box. So I have a box. Oh, look, there's an acorn in there. It's like, cool. The game helped you along a little bit in that way. It wasn't so unforgiving.
It was, good use of the items.
Yeah. Any enemies that you just like couldn't stand? I was not a fan of those birds.
Yeah, the birds, and there's that other one that would, run forward, and they would knock whatever was in front of them, like, up in an angle towards you, so if you tried to jump and avoid them, they would knock a box into you or something.
Yeah, those kind of suck too. And most of these things are in the later levels. So like once the game does start to get a little bit more difficult is where you see this stuff. But I think that's like that's the Rhino Runner, right? They're like rhinoceros in like a football uniform.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was, the rhino runners.
Yeah. Which as another thing that I saw, like as I was making the notes and like looking up some of these enemies, I was like, why is there a rhinoceros that's like not that much bigger than a chipmunk?
You need to look up, an old Canadian classic film called The House Hippo.
The house hippo?
Yeah.
Sounds let me look this up. This sounds fake.
No, it's, one of our great, heritage commercials there, and The House Hippo, I'll let you watch it there, but,
Oh, check that out. It's a little tiny.
yeah, it's a little tiny hippo that walks around the house at night and, leaves little hippo tracks and all over the place, so that's why you have these small rhinos is because they're, relatives of the house hippo.
Oh, yeah, the house hippo. It takes a big hippo dump on your on your toothbrush.
Oh, just a gigantic one right on the floor, right? Tiny hippo, big dump.
Yeah, they're gonna he's gonna he's gonna poop in your sink. Oh man, that's cute. Hippos are dangerous though.
Oh, yeah,
Stay
but
away.
they're adorable, and anything that's adorable, we try to pet.
That's right. Don't pet that. Um, yeah, the only other enemies that kind of were annoying were they were like buzzer flies that would like fly into the screen kind of quick, and then they'd like zero in on you and try to like go through. Once they got to your level, they would go vertical towards you.
Yeah.
Those could be kind of hard to avoid while you were trying to platform sometimes, but I mean, eh, it wasn't undoable. It's like they were,
No,
yeah,
patience.
yeah, and especially the last level obviously is going to be a little bit more challenging than any of the others. There were some some narrow passages with conveyor belts going the opposite direction, and then
Oh,
they'd
and the
throw you
axes
like,
that would come down, and you had to jump over the axes. Oh yeah, that was a pain in the ass. And then you had a whole bunch of those rhinos, and the rhinos
yeah,
took a couple of boxes to wipe out as well.
yeah, definitely the axes were a pain in the axe. But that, yeah,
Podcast over. Let's end it here. Thanks for coming out and listening. Sam just nailed it.
yeah. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Tip your server. We'll be here all week. But that one was that was hard to kind of get the timing on a little bit, but once I did, it was fine. And then some of those narrow passages where they'd like kind of throw enemies at you and you didn't have very much room to avoid them could be a little
Yeah,
bit challenging.
that's where a little bit of luck came into play.
Yeah, a little bit of luck or just kind of like outlasting the situation and finding your acorn on the other end, or just lucking out, because there were little checkpoints. Like if you could get through the level and get to the boss battle, and then the boss took your last heart or something like that, when you restarted, you were right back in the boss battle. It wasn't like they were sending you back to the beginning of the level or anything.
No, that's that'd be rude if they did.
It would be really rude. It sounds like maybe something that the Lion King would do. Uh, no, I'm
You're
not
just
gonna.
never gonna let the Lion King go, are you?
I'm not gonna let it go. I'm not gonna let it go. Okay. Um, Bosses. I we talked a little bit about the bosses before with having that little like red rubber ball that you throw at them, which
Yeah,
I
and
thought
that's
was
your
cool.
only weapon on all of the bosses is you find this red rubber ball and you just have to throw it at the boss until you find the weak point.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I thought all these bosses were fun. They each added like a different element in trying to avoid whatever they were kind of throwing at you. There were two instances where you fight Fat Cat, like the final boss one, where he actually tips cigar ash on you.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. Something that definitely wouldn't be put into a video game these days.
No. It
Like
contains
even the
smoking
cigar
gun.
itself is a big no-no today.
Well, right, yeah, like if you were to watch stuff like this on Disney Plus, they put a disclaimer in there now that like contains tobacco depictions, which we regret ever putting in anything ever, and whatever. And um I'm sure like this game might be T for teen because it contains tobacco depictions and violence.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's this what got me smoking.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I saw Fat Cat tipping ash on chipmunks and thought, man,
Yeah,
it
but you
doesn't get
look
much
at
cooler
that
than
purple
that.
suit
Yeah.
and you realize how rich he is, so I have to smoke to be rich. That was my logic.
Yes, purple suit and smoking. Big profits.
Absolutely, yeah. And you're a gangster with a whole army full of mini rhinos,
Mini rhinos and little house hippos and robots of
weasel
all kinds.
mobsters.
Yeah, yeah, those weasel mobsters kind of looked like those like weasels from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I've seen them before. I knew they
Yeah.
looked familiar.
It's like the exact same like design and everything because it's all Disney, but um well, was I can't remember if I think Disney had their grubby little fingers in it somewhere. So
Well, Disney and Warner Brothers. Well, I think it was a Disney movie, but Warner Brothers allowed the use of their property in that movie.
yeah, that movie was amazing.
The movie was fan. That was the first movie I ever saw in theater.
Oh, really? That's a good
Yeah,
one.
oh yeah, that's how old I am.
I can't remember what the first movie I saw was. Anyways, any of these bosses that really tickled your fancy or you had any difficulty with?
I think the caterpillar would be the one, like the second to last boss in the game. Mostly because he just kind of moved around and you could throw the ball up and down or left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no angle shot, so you had to make sure you're in the right spot while he's moving, and then hit him with the ball, slap your balls in his face, if you will.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem hitting him, but I had to figure out the pattern of like, so the caterpillar is like up on a branch above you on the screen, and he never comes down. And you can throw the ball up to hit him, But once you do, he like splits apart into four pieces and then like comes down at like in like a weird arc.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah. And then being in the right spot on the screen to avoid those was tricky at first, but once I kind of recognized the pattern, then
Yeah, and
Caterpillar
the
was right.
caterpillar was upright. That was the other thing is like it's not a caterpillar sitting four segments
Right.
horizontally. It's straight up and down. So
Yeah, so it
not
was
that
like
it
a
made a difference. You had to hit him in the head anyways.
yeah, it was like a narrow target though. Unlike something like there was like
Fat cat. He was pretty easy.
yeah, Fat Cat was there was was it a spaceship or like a weird fish? There was like a fish. Um and it like dropped these lightning bolts like all over, like a bunch of lightning bolts. That one was kind of hard to like keep yourself behind the fall of the lightning bolts while getting into a good position to throw that ball up in the air. And actually, did you ever hit yourself with the ball?
Yes, it stuns you long enough for you to what's it get hit.
Yeah, sometimes you can get hit. Sometimes I lucked out. Like if I was in a spot where the bosses whatever it was throwing at me wasn't going in that area, because there were some bosses where there were definite safe spaces to stand on the screen, which I thought was cool because, like if we're
We need our
talking
safe spaces.
safe spaces, yeah. um I would say like um where was I going with this? Like a game like Mega Man, right? Obviously built with some challenge, um but definitely not a lot of safe spaces to stand on the screen for like a
No.
boss battle.
You know what this game was missing for the bosses? It was a boss rush at the end would have been nice.
That would have been
Like,
cool.
yeah, there's not a lot of bosses here. Everyone takes the red ball to beat. So if you had to like run through the bosses again before getting to the last fat cat, that would have been kind of neat, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would have had fun with that. Just like running back through. There might be a I wonder if there's a game mode built in, because there were some extra options built in
There was a boss rush mode.
on the Disney Afternoon collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you could do that. But yeah, in the original game, it is not part of the game. But it's
No,
yeah,
you beat them once and that's it.
that would have been cool. Maybe they thought it would be too intense for like their target
Little
audience for this
Johnny
game.
sitting in the living room, 3 feet from the TV with his Nintendo controller and smile on his face.
Yeah. And then he has
No,
to
I can't do this. It's too hard. Shut up, Johnny.
yeah, you
I
shut
shouldn't
up.
say that. We actually got somebody joined us. Johnny from Virginia from the Remember the Game crew joined us. So I shouldn't pick on people named Johnny.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he's gonna
Shut
hear
up,
this.
Johnny.
That's it. He's gonna unsubscribe. Sorry, Johnny.
Shut up, Johnny. Do a boss rush.
Yeah, do it. Do it now.
um, yeah. So should we get into kind of our full thoughts on what we think of this game?
Yeah. Um, I'll go first if you don't mind.
No, go for
Um,
it, man.
overall, this game, I don't know why I remember this game like so well and how much I enjoyed it, but it is a fun game. Like beginning it, I can pick up this game and I can play it and just get right engulfed into it. And it takes an hour to beat
Yeah,
after you get good. Graphically, I love this game. It's just very detailed. The backgrounds even have some good details. Really lets you know where you are. This is peak Capcom 8-bit music as well.
yeah,
Like very catchy. And I don't know if you agree with me on this, but Mega Man's this game, uh, can't think of another game course now. It just completely went blank. But their games at this era were just musically beautiful.
yeah, for sure. I continue to be blown away playing some of these games that I either had very limited experience with or no experience with at the time, and how well they hold up. Um, this game, obviously it's not going to be released like this today, but let's say, um, Disney wants to put out like a, you know, retro style, web game or, retro style little platformer for a couple bucks. Like this, it wouldn't be any better than this, right? I mean, this is a great game.
Yeah, and it plays really well too. Like even the controls are pretty tight on this.
Very, yeah. I did have one frustration that uh, I listed down here, and the hitbox can be a little uh, difficult
Sucks
sometimes.
a bit. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the little toe syndrome there, where your little toe touches the enemy, and all of
Yeah,
a sudden you're down a heart.
yeah, and it was like not even the enemies so much as the like there were some floor spikes, but not very many. But I would like kind of move just slightly to jump over it. As you typically do, you run forward and then you jump.
Yeah.
And where I thought, where my brain has trained myself to jump was just a little bit too far into the hitbox, and I would get hit with, like a spike or um
I've never
yeah.
understood video game logic where if you go into the side of a spike, you get hurt.
Yeah. What Mega Man does that. Maybe that's a Capcom thing. Because doesn't Mega Man do that too? Like you
Yeah, if
touch
you
any
touch
part
the
of that,
side of a spike, you're dead
yeah, and it's like insta kill. Um Sonic the Hedgehog doesn't do that.
unless you have no rings.
No, you can touch the side of it. Like if there's a set of
Oh
spikes,
yeah,
I
you
believe
can,
you can.
can't you?
Yeah, you can push up against it.
Well, look at that. Look at the superior Sonic actually
I
figuring
know.
out spike physics.
Sonic doesn't do that. Um,
Well,
yeah, the
man, we
flat
should get some British guy to talk about that.
we should. Um, yeah, level design. Yeah, I mean it's just a great game. I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, not too difficult. This is again, I've said it before. This is like the speed that a game should be for the demographic that it was meant for. I mean, it was a
And
little challenging, but not too much. Easy to
and they hit
learn.
that. Yeah, on the note of that challenge, and I'm going to cut you off here
That's
because
fine.
this is my show now.
Yeah, go for it.
But no, speaking of the challenge, it was like I remember as a kid, this was the right amount of challenge for the age level it was targeted at.
Hell yeah.
And
If
I
you're
can't remember what game we were talking about recently, but where the challenge didn't match kind of the target audience.
Oh, you mean Animaniacs?
Oh, Animaniacs, yeah, that's right. It's
Yeah.
like so 2 weeks ago.
My eye starts twitching again. Like
I remember I blanked that out of my brain because that's my cursed episode for editing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It fucked both of us over. That game
Oh,
sucked.
absolutely. Animaniacs is it's one of those games that we never want to talk about again, but we got a comment on Twitter there about somebody asking our opinions on the Genesis and the Game Boy version, so we're going to have to talk about it again.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully
well,
those two are better though.
yeah, I don't really want to mess with the Game Boy version, but
Well, we
I
got to do the Genesis at least, like
yeah,
considering it's a different story.
I'd try the Genesis one. Yeah, different story, and I guess like the Animaniacs themselves had actually different abilities, which is something I wish the Super Nintendo one would have done.
Yeah, and we'll have to check out the spike physics as well. See if it's a Sega thing or just Sonic.
It's probably just Sonic. I don't know. I don't know. Konami, you are on my shit list for Animaniacs for a little bit. We got this is a little further down the line, but we got a Castlevania game coming up, so maybe Konami will get back in my good graces after that.
Maybe Konami will break me. I've never been a huge Castlevania guy, but I'm going to give it a go. I bought the Castlevania collection, so
Hell yeah.
I have to play them now.
Yeah, they're good. It'll be okay. I've played a couple of them.
All
Um
right.
but yeah, that's for another day. What anything else left to say about Chippendale Rescue Rangers? Just a
No, it
brilliant
was a
game.
great cartoon back in the day. I'm going to play that song that Unbuckled said gets stuck in his brain, and
Ah, he's gonna get it
uh,
stuck in his head again.
oh yeah, he's going to be humming it at work and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, his little boy there is going to start humming the song, and then he'll have to do a full watch through again after he does his top 10 Batmobiles.
Yep. Yeah. After the Batmobiles, stay focused.
Yeah, seriously, don't let us down.
There actually, it's funny because I think he mentioned Unbuckle that is mentioned the Animaniacs song getting stuck in his head, and then also the Rescue Rangers song getting
Oh
stuck in
yeah,
his head.
that's
Yeah.
going to be the theme of the podcast now. Is how many songs could we get stuck in your head?
Yes. Yeah. Let's try to find. We'll find some good annoying earworms for you.
We're coming back with the top 10 songs you won't get out of your head for weeks.
Yes.
But we should probably score this now because we're way off topic.
Yeah, we're off the rails here. Let's score this thing and get on out of here. What do you think? What are you giving this, Brian?
Um, Great game, great memories, great music. A little bit easier in my adulthood, which is like kind of the opposite of a lot of games, so it's not perfect. I think I'm gonna go a straight 8 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I gave it, an 8 out of 10. And something I thought of just now, like I was trying to think of like, well, why did I give it an 8 and not like you know, a 9 or something, because we were just like gushing all over this game for the last, however long we've
Well,
been
eight's
talking.
not a bad score.
No, it's not a bad score at all, but I did keep it out of that like not 8.59 range for a couple of reasons. And one of them that I just remembered um was the lack of, there were a couple of times when there were like power-ups. There's like one point you get a hammer that was kind of fun, and another
Oh, the one
part
you can't drop?
you can't drop it, but it's also like the only point in the game where you get the hammer, and it was really fun to use. I wish I could have like had another chance with that somewhere else. That would have been fun. And then also like there's a, you get like the hydrofoil little like airboat or whatever, and all you do is
Oh
just like
yeah.
you just jump in it and it just like rides vertical for a little bit like across the screen, and then you just hop off of it like nothing happens.
Yeah, it would have been kind of nice if they used these special little things better.
Yeah, and then like we talked about underutilization of Monty Jack because he's awesome. So yeah, an 8. It's a solid 8. It's a great game.
Yeah,
Those
and
things
eight's
don't
a
take
like
away.
an eight's a definite recommendation to play. Like if you're talking a bad game, you're talking anything under a 4.
Yeah, no, this
Like
is a great game.
yeah, 4 to 6 would be an okay game. 7 and 8 is a great game, and a 9 and 10 is almost a must play.
Yeah. Where are we gonna put this on our
Oh,
patented Retrotopia tier list?
the old tier rank, and I see you wrote down here it's a B ranked game. I'm not going to fight you on that. It is
Okay.
definitely a clear B ranked game.
Yeah, I think it's a high B though. Like it's a B, but I could be swayed or talked into an A, but maybe not. I
Oh.
mean, it's it's a high B though. It's a good high B.
Well, if you look at the 8 out of 10 from both of us, that's an A if you got a report card.
Wait, what? An 8, 2 8 out of 10s is an A?
Well, 80% is an A,
No, it's not.
90% is an A plus.
Oh, 80% is like a C.
80% is a C. Whoa, what school did you go to?
An American school.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
like
50 is a failure.
yeah.
60 is a failure as well, but nobody has E's.
No, 65 was
70.
the
Oh,
fail
maybe
point.
you're right.
Yeah, 65, like a 70 was like a D, and then um yeah, like C was like, either like 79 or 80 down to 70, and
So
yeah.
we always did it by tens.
Yeah, that's
50 was
probably
a fail. 90 to 100 was an A plus. 80 to 90 was an A. 70 to 80 was a B. 60 to 70 was a C. And 50 to 60 was a D. Yeah. And anything below that was an F.
huh, weird. You
Yeah.
guys, yeah. I mean, you,
It's
you
like
guys
we don't want everybody to feel bad about going to school.
interesting. Yeah, that's a weird concept. Also, you spell things wrong. So, I mean,
You talk to your father, Britain, about that.
yeah. Okay. Well, we told them to fuck off. So, we spell things our way and we use their system of measurement.
Yeah. I would go over again why you guys don't use you in words, but it's really a boring story.
Yeah, it just makes things, I pronounce the U in my head and it's like
Well,
color,
it's not even,
color.
they're not even pronounced different.
No, they're not. It just
No,
looks weird.
it's literally all just a save money scam by America, and when on the days where you paid by the letter.
Well, always trying to save a buck, you know?
Absolutely, you misers.
So yeah. Well, I guess we're like the Scrooge McDuck if we're like making an in universe like Disney reference.
There you go.
We're very Scrooge McDuck, but he was
And he did
Scottish.
play Ebenezer Scrooge in his first appearance, so
Yep.
fits out perfectly. All right, so do you have anything left there, Sam?
I got nothing left.
All right, so I guess that's going to do it for another episode of Retrotopia. So what do we got coming up next week?
Next week we're going to be talking Punch Out, and we'll see how I do. I
Yeah,
don't
and
have a
it's
lot
going to
of
be
experience. Yeah,
it's no particular Punch Out. It's Punch Out or Punch Out with Mike Tyson. So
yeah.
they're the
Mike
same game,
Mike
anyways.
Tyson's Punch Out, or or just Punch Out. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So until next time, everyone, keep on gaming.
If you want to be part of the community, you can find us at Linktree/Retrotopia. That is linktr.ee/Retrotopia, or you can join our Discord, meet us on Twitter, or wherever we are on social media. Thanks for listening.